All right, I'm going to call the meeting for the Peabody Municipal Light Commission to order for September 22nd, 2022. Before we go through the approval of the agenda, do we have anything we need to add?
Yes, Chairman, we'd like to add the announcement of the GT1 D-list bid to ISO New England
Where are we going to put that?
and the manager's status report.
Okay, I'm going to be looking for a motion to approve the agenda.
So move, Mr. Manager.
What is that?
Second?
Second.
All for, any opposed? Let's vote.
What is this?
All right, I'd like to make an announcement. Actually, no, we're going to go right into the introduction of the new employees first.
Okay.
So, Joe, you want to take that?
Yeah, unfortunately, Brian Gomes, who's been with us for a few weeks now,
You already quit?
yeah, he had a family issue that he had to deal with, so he won't be joining us tonight. But joining us tonight, we've got Nicole Patty, my new executive assistant, who's been with us a month now, ish, couple of weeks. Been doing a great job, so we're happy to have her.
All
Like
right,
trying to follow big.
Welcome, Nicole.
welcome. You know where to get the pizza?
Yeah, sorry.
All right. All right, I'd like to make an announcement and acknowledge the open meeting law is in effect and inform the public that the meeting is now being recorded by hand. And now we're going to be looking for the approval of minutes for the regular meeting of June 23rd, 2022.
So move, Mr. Manager. Mr. Chairman.
Second?
I'll second.
Second. All for, any opposed? It's a vote. And then we're going to be looking for an approval for the minutes of executive session meeting June 23rd, 2022, but not to release.
So move, Mr. Chairman. Not to release.
Go for a second, please.
I'll second.
All for, any opposed? It's a vote. And next on the agenda, we have remarks of the general public. Yep.
Oh, it is. It's Brian's. Hi, Brian.
Hello, my name's Ron Smaller. I live in Peabody, over in West Peabody. And I just wanted to say that we had the meeting, our third public forum yesterday morning, which was a great meeting. Had, I think, more attendance than the previous meetings, about half a dozen people. It wasn't great, but it's better. And I just wanted to go through quickly what the questions that were asked and the responses, so it gets officially on the record. First, and this won't take very long, someone asked about if someone installs a EV charger at their house, if there would be possibly a different rate for electricity, if that would be something, and the response, Joe, said that was something you were looking at, and it might very well be, but someone was interested in that. I think people are interested in going more, either hybrids or electric cars. Also, there was a question about I know we're installing some chargers in Peabody that I believe the PMLP is involved with, a total of 6 of them, and someone did ask about, I think, the rates and how that would be charged, and the response basically was they would be paid chargers, they wouldn't be free, but the rates had not been determined, and there wasn't anything finalized on that yet. I think the rates are going to include electricity, and also there's probably maintenance that need to be done. You'll have a contract, and that was the response to that, so we're looking forward to getting that done. Someone had requested me to just make a statement because they were not able to be at the meeting, and their request was that the public forums be carried on a live Zoom meeting so that they could participate and/or anyone else unable to attend the meeting but being interested in it be able to participate. Didn't really get much of a response on that, but we wanted to put it out there. And then I said maybe this first step is, as we're recording for Peabody TV tonight, we might be able to start doing that. It would not allow participation because it's a viewing after the fact, but at least people that were interested could see what's being brought up and the responses and that type of thing. And I still think that would be a great idea if we could do that. And I'm willing to do Peabody TV if necessary, be the person that comes and does that. Also, there was a request for updates to all the ongoing projects that PMLP is involved in, some of them through MWIC and some of them not. And basically what we got was Project 2020A, which is the solar project out in Ludlow is going to have a ribbon cutting ceremony coming in October 17th, which was great to hear. And I said that maybe at that point we could actually get some information, because it's frustrating that we can't get any information about the projects that we're actually paying for. So that's a good one.
If I may, do we update on the website?
We do, yep, and we will, yep.
There's nothing on the website now about any of these projects,
Yeah.
other than 2015A.
Right.
That's untrue,
That's untrue?
yes.
Okay. Where is it? Under current projects, now, I haven't checked maybe in the last week, but under current projects, the last time I looked, the most recent one was 2017. And if something was added,
It's been up there for more than a couple of weeks, so the last
Okay.
time you asked, we
Yeah.
went and did.
which one is up there?
There's like 8 projects up there.
Beyond the 2017? 2020, 21, and 22 are all up there?
You got it.
That's great.
Yep.
All right, that's fantastic. I did not realize they were up there, so I apologize for that. You did, but just to finish the updates, because I think it's pretty interesting, the 2021 project, the Berkshire Wind, shows that there was a change on, that's not something that you can't control. They want to charge more money to purchase power, and it might be that you have to reevaluate and decide against purchasing that power. And if so, then that would completely change your plan for the net zero by 2035 or 2050 or whatever, because that was a big part of it, 15, 16% or something.
Just to correct, that was not Berkshire Wind, that's offshore wind.
Offshore wind, okay, I'm sorry, so offshore wind, the wind project, that's 2021A, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, so, and I guess we'll find out more about that as that happens. And then 2022A, which is the battery project, there was no update on that.
That's right.
But Joe did mention that there was another battery project that you're looking at, which sounds, I think you might even be discussing that a little later. Is that the one that's on the agenda? The 2 or 4 megawatts? And I suggested that we maybe start looking at the possibility of using the space where the turbine number 1 is currently located, seeing as we are looking forward to getting that one decommissioned, utilizing that space for possible battery storage for Peabody. I'm thinking that towards my goal of my idea of having a more, and I think the way everything is going, a more distributed grid, and having some of these, local municipalities provide some of their own power locally, and that includes residential, with the net metering program you have, some solar, local, possibly battery storage in homes, that we may be able to look at, especially since the comment was made by Joe that Peabody has one of the best grids anywhere. We're much better, and I'm sure I agree with that. We're much better than many, and but we're still dependent on these other grids when we're buying, where every bit of our power is nothing's coming from Peabody. It's all coming from someplace else. So if we could get some local backup power in Peabody, and we'd be golden. We'd have our own highly maintained solid grid and our own backup power in the form of a battery storage, and we're going to have some space available. It's not till 2026 is the proposed date, but I know how long all these things take, and I think if we start looking at it, and frankly, Joe responded that he was already looking at it. So I thought that was great news too, but that was just something I thought we should be looking ahead to. And my last one is, and I requested an update on that MAPC Net Zero project, that there was a Zoom meeting last December. It involves community development in Peabody and the PMLP. And we attended the meeting and everything sounded great, but literally haven't heard a word since. And basically the response was that there has not been anything happening since, as far as you know. So that's disappointing. We had a little discussion about how it works or whatever, but I would like to see some of these things, once it's introduced, pursued. And it was a great idea, and it's coming up on a year. It's already going to be October, and nobody seems to have anything going on with it. So that was pretty much it. And it was I think our meeting was about an hour and a half. It was a good meeting, and it was, like I said, there was a good public back and forth with people.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ron.
Anybody else? Okay.
Oh, my God, I gotta get out of here. I wanna end this thing.
Hello, my name is Susan Smaller. I live on Loman Circle in Peabody, and I was at yesterday's forum as well. I thought it was a good, pertinent discussion. I wish some of you were here or were there. I learned a lot as a result of our questions and Joe's comments, and I want to confirm something that I learned yesterday, and then also something that you just added to the agenda, I think, is also related to this. You added something regarding Unit 1 to the agenda. I want to make a comment about that, but another comment is it would really be nice if the public participation or opportunity part of your meeting came after your discussions. We have to wait till next month to say something again when you're going to be discussing stuff that we might want to comment on tonight and not have to wait for a month. And if you just moved your comment part of the meeting to later on, we would be able to hear what you have to say tonight. So that's one comment. The other is that I learned yesterday that, I knew already that we were seeking to close Unit 1 and that we want ISO New England to avoid using Unit 1 in the winter to burn oil. I was amazed that when the plant is closed, we will save 70% of the NOx gas pollution that we cause. And that if we don't burn oil in the winter, starting this winter, we can again save that same 70% less NOx gas pollution. What I learned that was new and I think is remarkable, and I'm glad for it, is that PMLP can choose not to burn oil in Unit 1, even if ISO New England requests that you do so. I always thought they had the ultimate control of when and what got burned here. But it seems that you're able to say, no, we're not going to do it. Now, I'm sure there's a cost to that, and that's where my comment kind of goes to. Would you please provide us with a progress report on the closing of Unit 1, and also the costs we would accrue if you decided to say to ISO New England, no, we're not going to burn oil in Unit 1. It's not. I mean, for whatever reason, your reasons might be, I applaud them. I think that if we could turn off that burner this winter, that's a goal we should meet. So thank you very much for yesterday's meeting and also for this evening.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Anybody else?
No.
Okay. Moving on, we have a correspondence. We have a letter from the Board of Health basically thanking us for our partnership with the Hazardous Waste Day. That's from Sharon Cameron. Do we need to talk about that at all? or-
No, you said exactly what I would have said.
Okay, good. All right, next we have the manager's report, so we'll let Joe take it away.
Okay. So the added item about the GT1 D-list bid is simply an update that came in after we posted the agenda, so we wanted to get it on here to talk about it. And there are two D-list bids for GT1, which is an annual D-list bid and a monthly D-list bid. The annual D-list bid was submitted by the deadline of July 20th and has been accepted by the ISO New England. It is under review. When we have a response to that, we'll share that with the public, but for now, we're in a waiting pattern. The monthly D-list bid, which is the bid that will allow us to take that unit and not burn oil over the winter, was submitted, the deadline was this morning. It was submitted on time, and we have, the bid was accepted as a submittal. It's being reviewed. We'll find out maybe in a week or so. So that both of those were submitted, and that is the current plan. That's all the information I have at this point. Next, we have surplus equipment. We have one item that is no longer in utilization by PMLP. It's a very old battery-powered pallet jack, and we'd like to declare that as surplus so that we can sell that on Gov Deals. If I could ask for that declaration, please.
I would say, do we need to make a motion? Or? We need a motion, or we can just give them the go-ahead?
You may have a motion.
Make a motion? Okay, can I get a motion, please?
I'll make a motion that we declare the battery-powered pallet jack as surplus.
Need a second, please?
Second.
All four, any opposed? No? Okay, let's move on.
Okay. Second announcement I'd like to make was that we recently had the opportunity to buy 2 EV Ford F-150 Lightnings, and those were an item that was found by one of our dealers in stock, and they gave us this offer, and we leapt at it. So we were able to buy them. They should be here in a month or so. Although we've had hybrids over the years, these will be our first of our 2 fully electric vehicles as part of our fleet. We're hopeful they perform well, pave the way for more EVs as we retire our older vehicles. Next item, we've got the EV charging station update. The DPU has approved our request, not DPU, sorry, DEP, too many acronyms, has approved our request to amend the EV charging station grant that we received to move 2 stations from the Railroad Ave location over to the Mill Street lot, which is between the Dunkin' Donuts and the post office in Peabody's, behind the old sports collection place.
That's just the one station? Where's the
2
other?
stations, there was supposed to be 4 originally at
Mill.
Railroad. We took 2 of those and moved them to Mill Street.
Both of them are going to Mill?
Yep, so there'll be 2 at Mill, 2 at Railroad, and 2 at the municipal lot in between Petrillo's and Brody's, basically. Next is Special Project 2015A update. The main concrete foundation pour occurred on August 27th and went well. This was a major pour with about 120 concrete trucks. The foundation is currently in a state of curing and should be fully, it usually takes about 28 days to cure. It should be fully cured by next week, I think. Next, we've got the International Festival. Peabody's International Festival is a huge success. It was the first one since the onset of the coronavirus. Mayor Betancourt expressed his thanks to PMLP for our assistance with the electrical setup and the lighting setup, as well as our ongoing troubleshooting throughout the day. Several PMLP employees volunteered their time to ensure that this was a success, and we recognize their efforts internally and are proud to have such dedicated and caring employees. Next update is on the battery, the behind-the-meter battery. As you're aware, PMLP and over a dozen other Massachusetts municipals are working with MWEC to identify local large-scale battery vendors to provide cost-effective battery solutions. We had 3 vendors tour Peabody in July to review 3 different locations. One was this site here at 201 Warren, the other was at our Bartholomew Street substation, and the other one was at the Frog Island substation area, which is down near the Rousselot building. Since then, MWEC has gathered financial data from each of these vendors and has outlined to PMLP our best two scenarios. This involves one vendor as a lease option, where we wouldn't own it, nor would we be responsible for any of the maintenance and support, and the other is a buy option, where we would be responsible for everything. There are different financial scenarios attached to each. When I have those details, I will share them with you. In the coming weeks, we'll review this data internally and present to the Commission a recommendation. Next update is for the Special Project 2021A, the offshore wind update. In our original letter of agreement with the offshore wind developer, the agreed-upon price for power to MWEC and thus to the Massachusetts municipals such as ourselves was $76 per megawatt hour. However, a clause in the agreement stated that the municipal rate would be subject to change pending the agreements with the IOUs, such as Eversource and National Grid. That agreement had not taken place at the time when we agreed. After the agreement with the IOUs was reached, the vendor decided to enact that clause and match the rate that they got from the IOUs. Now, the Massachusetts municipals and PMLP is facing an increase to $100 per megawatt hour. My team and I are currently evaluating our long-term finances with this new rate. An early analysis shows that this is an unfavorable agreement, but we will circle back at a later date after a thorough analysis and request a vote to stay in or pull out of this agreement. We do not have a deadline yet as to when we need to make that decision.
Is there clauses in there built in that we can back out of it?
Yes, there is.
Just like that clause is built in, so they
Correct.
can raise it?
Yep. And that's it for the manager's report.
All right, committee reports, seeing none. Award of bids, 3-phase 23.
That's right, Chairman. We do have
KV.
one. And awarding that bid or discussing that bid is Business Manager Karen Rapucci.
All right,
Hey, good evening, Commissioners.
good evening.
Evening.
You received the info brief, and I'm just going to do a summarization of what that entailed. I'm here tonight to get the commission to approve the purchase of 27 23 kV pad mount transformers. Due to supply chain issues, vendor representatives' knowledge, and communication with other municipalities, it has come to PMLP's attention that we need to buy these transformers earlier than anticipated to ensure that there is no disruption in service for our customers. There have been significant lead times for all transformers in the past year, and as you can see from the bids, the trend is continuing. On 8/19/22, we posted the bids with our potential bidders on the website, in the newspaper, the Dodge Report, and Combis, which is the state vendor site. On 9/14/22, we received 6 bids that we opened. And due to the current conditions in this industry, none of the bidders were in compliance with our terms and conditions. All the bidders can change the price of transformers if material costs increase before shipment. Without many options, PMLP chose Howard Industries because they were the only bidder that was in complete compliance with our specifications. In addition, their delivery, which is key, their lead time, is 40 weeks versus all the other bidders, which were 90 weeks. After analyzing the bids, the 2 important factors, as I just explained, was compliance with the specifications and the delivery lead time. So we chose Howard Industries for all 12 types of transformers, as you can see from the information brief. Does anyone have any questions?
I do.
Okay.
That lead time that they're telling us, are they accurate? They show they're accurate with that? Nobody else can hit that, but they can hit it somehow?
We have to take what they give us in the bid as being
So
accurate.
if they don't deliver on does our price drop?
The price is never going to drop as far as I can see.
My understanding, Mr. Chairman, is that those lead times are caveated, and there are ways for them to have some wiggle room. And despite that fact, there's still, the other 5 vendors have 90-day lead time. So in comparative measures, anyone with a 40-week lead time, even with wiggle room, is set to beat the 90 weeks. So we're hedging our best bet at Howard here.
I just hope that they don't come in at 90 weeks too, and we spent $20,000 more on each one than we...
They were still one of the lowest vendors anyway, so.
Yeah.
And I hope the same.
Is this an upfront payment? Is it? It says we're spreading out.
I'm just
We
curious.
never pay for things until we
Right.
receive them.
But so we're going to spread these out? Do we have to give them the time frame?
We're not spreading them out. We would make one purchase to get them going, and once we receive them, then we pay for them.
So, Karen, excuse me, I'm just curious, do we survey all these size pad mount transformers? I mean, you got a lot of different sizes here. What's the predominant size that we have on our system here that...
I'm going to shoot that to Brian of Kunis here.
Can I
He's,
get up there, or can I?
You can sit there, you stay there, that's fine.
Okay, I'll be loud, I promise. So, this is a good majority of the different transformer sizes we have in our system, but, you know, depending on how big or small the customer is, depending on what voltage they take power at, they may need one of these sizes of transformers. So we maintain quantities for all of these sizes of transformers, and a few more that we don't need to buy any more transformers for right now because we have a decent amount in stock. And honestly, right now, we have a decent amount in stock for most of these, but we do have a lot of projects coming up in the next year plus that we know about. And then we also have unplanned transformer jobs that we don't know about yet. Transformers get found leaking, rotting, you know, they get hit by a plow, you know, like, we need to maintain our supply for planned work, and then we have a certain amount of quantity that we want to keep in stock for for unplanned work, whether it's, like I said, an emergency or a project that we find out about next week that we didn't know was coming because we came here tonight and got these ones through. We talked to a bunch of other municipalities. We talked to all these bidders kind of offline. The market is out of control right now for transformers, but despite that, we have a need, and we can't be the only utility in town that doesn't have transformers to supply our customers. So, and another thing that is leading us to do this now is to our 23 kV system. We don't have a lot of neighbors around that we can call if we're in a pinch. We got a few in the whole state. If we had a 13 8 kV system, we could call almost anybody around. Not to say that we would want to rely on that anyway, but we don't have as many options as others. And for all we know, this supply chain and the crazy pricing could get crazier and longer in the next year. So we don't think it's a great thing to wait and see what happens, because it could get worse. These are the circumstances we're in right now. You know, other municipalities are in the same boat. They're making the same decisions as us. So we're just trying to keep the right amount of inventory in stock.
So I guess my question is, have we surveyed the system for the rusted, leaking ones, the ones that, like, we identify? Because I see all three-phase pad mounts on here. What about our single-phase customers in the urban areas and stuff like that? I don't see any pad mounts on it.
That would be a separate bid, and sometimes we're able to go out and buy those on quotes because we can buy a certain amount under the state bid threshold. And at the moment, we're in decent shape with single-phase pad mounts.
We got enough on hand then?
Yeah. And just for example about the lead time, we went out and bought a bunch of single-phase pole mounts, you know, up on the pole transformers. We pulled the trigger on that order around last 4th of July, 2021. Some of them aren't here yet. And they were supposed to be here last November of 2021. They keep pushing us. So I hope they come in 38 to 40 weeks. And we have to, you know, take them at their word.
Yeah.
And we'll certainly be pushing and asking those questions when we tell them, you know, hey, we're about to enter into a contract with you guys, but hey, tell me this 38 to 40 weeks is, you know, can you sleep at night telling us that that's the number? You know, what's your experience with other municipalities or utilities that you are delivering to?
Yeah.
Is it 40 weeks or is it 90 weeks? It better be closer to 40 weeks, because we're counting on that, and that was a big part of our evaluation, was the lead time.
Don't we bid with other municipals when we're bidding on these things? If we bought as a group, don't we get together and get like maybe a better discount, better lead times? Because I know like an Eversource or a National Grid, they're not that long, the lead times. I mean, they're long.
Yeah.
And I do understand that, because I see it. We take down old three-phase stackers and we use them in places where, you know, we never used to do that, but we have because of the urgency.
We do that with poles. Poles, I think we're in a joint bid or contract with, is it NEPA or MWAC or something?
It's NEPA. NEPA, we can get pricing as
Poles, not
municipalities.
transformers?
Not
The thing with transformers is everybody wants them a little bit different.
Yeah.
Like even the other 23 kV utilities, they might want this height, they may want this option. So transformers become like a custom item for everyone.
Sure.
Like Eversource.
Even the other 25 kV, like Littleton, is actually 24,600 volts.
They're all a little different.
We're 22,860, so we all say 25 kV class, but they are all a little different, like
Yeah.
Brian said.
Yeah.
Right. You know, we were shocked at some of the results of some of these bids, but
Oh, yeah.
you know, what choice do we have? We need to have transformers for our customers,
No,
our current ones and our future ones.
yeah. Nope, very, very real. Thank you.
Commissioner D'Amato, do you have something?
Yeah, aside from the lead time, is the prices gone up crazy?
Yeah,
Like
they
what-
have.
Like
Yeah.
what, 50, 30?
Double.
Double.
Twice.
Really?
Double.
If not a bit more.
Was this factored into the budget? Is this a budget buster?
No,
No?
It's not factored into
It's
the
not
budget.
factored.
No.
But the good news is we won't be spending most of this money this year.
Right.
So we have a chance to make up for it, at least nominally, as we approach the next budget.
It's like an emergency appropriation, where we're looking at, what the vendors are telling us and what other municipalities are telling us with lead times, and we need to get this order in so that we can get what we need for our system.
Right, and you guys are in tune with things going on in City Hall and developments and, new building on, Farm Ave, building on Dearborn Road, three big buildings off of Newbury Street. We hear those and we say, that's a pad mount, that's a pad mount, that's 3 pad mounts. That's, those are all things that we're prepared for. The well tool is doing a massive upgrade. That's a bigger transformer. All these things, they're all great for the city, but we need to have the facilities here to service them.
So when they were quoted at half the price of what they really cost us now, probably, right? So I guess we eat the difference? So if they bid and designed the job a year or two ago and it hasn't come to fruition yet?
Well, we provide a transformer as part of our division of labor. We own and maintain the transformer. So our cost in purchasing that transformer is clearly going up here.
Yeah, it's our cost, they don't buy it.
Oh, so the customer doesn't pay for that on a new install? Don't pay for the transformer? You guys are, we're nice here at Peabody.
You guys, you're.
We're nice here at Peabody. 'Cause that doesn't happen on other systems, so. Okay, so that's a cost that we'll absorb then.
Yes.
We're here for a Peabody resident.
Right.
It's a non-profit
Not-for-profit,
organization. We're not trying to make money.
Yeah, but,
from
yeah, but
Stockholm.
no, I understand that. I understand that, but, big projects like this, I mean, like, for instance, schools, they're allocated all this money that come from the state to pay for these things, and, I don't know, I just figured that would be factored in.
But we're assuming, a pretty significant amount of usage and
Yeah.
business from that customer.
That's true.
Such that it's gonna pay itself back in a certain
few
period of
years.
time. And obviously that may change with the price tag here.
Right,
But
right.
that's been the thinking behind that. And I would say we do a lot less than Eversource probably does in your typical underground development to a commercial building or something. Where Eversource might do, pull in the primary cables and install and own the cables. We don't do any of that.
Yeah.
You say, here's our specs, build a transformer pad and we'll drop off a transformer.
Oh,
And you
that's
guys do
interesting.
everything else. So there's other differences that, may kind of negate the transformer ownership.
Yeah, okay, I didn't realize that.
We can't pass along the cost of that.
No, we'll absorb the cost.
All right, so we're looking for a motion, I guess, right?
Yeah.
So I'll make a motion to approve the purchase of 27, 23 kV pad mount three-phase transformers.
I'll second it.
And so we have a motion and a second, so Nikki, we need a roll call.
Commissioner Bonfanti?
Yes.
Commissioner Melvin?
Yes?
Commissioner Paris?
Yes.
Commissioner D'Amato?
Yes.
Commissioner Elwood?
Yes.
5-0.
Nice job, Nikki.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Good job.
Thank you, Karen.
Thanks, Karen.
Thanks, Karen.
Ryan, thank you.
Brian, if it turns into 90 weeks, do you get a
Just
break?
to reflect that.
Get a refund?
Just to clarify,
All right, what's next?
in the motion, you didn't specify the amount.
Oh, that's because we didn't want anybody to know.
It's very expensive. Where is it?
Wicked lots.
You have to redo the motion now?
You can do,
Where's it up?
redo the motion.
Okay, it was up. Okay, so I'll make a motion to purchase 27, 23 kV pad mount transformers at the cost of $1,084,041.00.
From?
Power sales.
From is it Howard Power Sales?
Power Sales Group, Howard Industries.
Power Sales Industries? Who's that? Howard Industries, that's it. Power Sales Group, Howard Industries.
Howard
Yep.
Sales Group is their representative.
I see.
But Howard Industries is the vendor.
Okay.
So I'll second that.
All right, so we got a second, now we're going to do another roll call.
All
right, Nikki, you're on the- you're on the-
Discussion.
Yes.
Commissioner Melvin? Commissioner Barry?
Yeah, yes.
Yes.
Commissioner Ailes?
Yes.
It was free the first
You
time
made
I
the
voted.
motion, second.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Second.
Do the two motions.
All right, what are we up to now?
First motion was no good.
All right, the check, no, the Great Blue
Second
Survey.
one included the cost of the...
Let's go.
All right, next, we got general business. We got the Great Blue Survey.
Yep. Beginning in the first quarter of this year, we engaged Great Blue to perform a residential customer survey, mainly to gather data surrounding the rate increase potential and the 2015A project awareness. As of the end of the second quarter, the survey was completed, data was gathered, analyzed, and on August 11th, we received the final data. On September 8th, Great Blue provided us with a debriefing session of the results, and some of the bullet points are, there were 405 respondents in total. And I re-ranked these from the highest percentage to the lowest percentage, just because 97% of the respondents said that our service is great, with an exclamation mark. 93% said that PMLP is close to an ideal utility. 87% said that PMLP's carbon-free portfolio meets or exceeds their expectations. 84% said that they were okay with Project 2015A's plans. 50% said that they plan to buy an EV in the next 4 years. 22% said that they plan to buy a heat pump in the next 2 years. And 15% say that they use our added services, such as rebates, Next Zero, and connected homes. So the biggest takeaway there is that we need to continue to find better ways to engage our customers and increase the awareness of our added programs. And I plan to meet with staff to develop a roadmap to accomplish this.
Nice.
Great.
Nice. All right, now we got a whole bunch of checks.
We do. We received 4 checks from MWEC for the Hydro-Quebec refund, amounting in the total of $128,000, all of which will be placed into the rate stabilization fund.
Beautiful.
Great.
All right, remarks of the commission. Commissioner Bonfanti?
No, thanks.
No, thanks.
No comment this time?
Okay. Paris?
No comment.
Commissioner D'Amato?
Serious? I'll speak for everybody and wish
Thank you.
Nicole a long, prosperous career at Peabody Municipal Light Plant. You got huge shoes to fill, in case you haven't figured that out, in case you haven't heard the news. You got it for another couple of months. And I have her cell phone, so don't worry about
They keep checking out.
it. Yeah, I know. So, congratulations, good luck.
All right, I'll echo those sentiments. Welcome aboard. I look forward to working with you. And that's about it. So I think we're going to call this the end of the meeting, and we're going to we're going to head into executive session. I'm going to look for a... No, we're not going to return, but I need a roll call, please.
Oh, so we need a motion.
I need a motion and a roll call, yeah.
Right. I move that we go into, end public session, go into executive session for the purpose of discussing competitively sensitive material
Not to return.
and not to return to public session.
Second, please.
I'll second.
Roll call.
Commissioner McKenzie?
Yes.
Commissioner Melvin?
Yes.
Commissioner Barry?
Yes.
Commissioner D'Amato?
Yes.
Commissioner Elwood?
Yes. All right, that's it.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you very much, everybody.